let's start off with just your thoughts on new head coach Joe Brady and the firing of McDermott. You can give a little synopsis of that era if you want, and then what you think this Joe Brady era is going to feel like.
Well, let's start with McDermott. First of all, I'll say, thank you for uh, taking the Bills out of the mud, right, and putting them back um, where they need to be, in a sense. They didn't win the big one. They had a lot of games where some gut crushing games that we could look at all the playoff appearances where they lost to Kansas City, the Bengals. I mean, last year against the freaking Broncos. I mean, I have to. McDermott will always have a special place in my heart. But if we're really being honest, he should have been fired after 13 seconds. He should have been gone. He should have been gone then.
I mean, thank you so much. I love you. And by the way, you should have been fired 4 years ago.
Yeah. Isn't that how an abusive relationship goes? But yeah, no, I think his time, I think after a while, man, the message gets stale in the locker room, and we're not in it, but I do have some sources that that would allude to the message getting lost, players being very tight, if you will, and it kind of wears on you after a while. And I think when you have those crushing losses, like to the Chiefs in 13 seconds and to the Broncos, and I mean, the list goes on, right? You kind of just is like, what are we doing this for? And Josh Allen crying in the locker room after that game. And I just go, yeah, it's time. It's time. And I will say this, and I told you this before the start of last season. What did I tell you? I said, hey, I have one word that if they don't make a deep run in the playoffs, Bean, McDermott, they're both probably gone. Now it didn't play out entirely that way, but one of the two, it had to be McDermott, and it was true. I guess Terry was behind the scenes. I don't know this, but he had to be fed up with not getting over the hump.
Well, and he even said in his press, dude, Carson Beck with another touchdown pass. He even said in the press conference, like, I walked in that room and I knew something needed to change. That says a lot. It's not, he's not polished when it comes to media or anything like that, clearly. But the fact that your owner comes out and just outright says that is brutal, because and whether it was true that they needed to make that change so many years ago and didn't, like you're saying, I think a lot of, some ex-players, even Jerry Hughes, came out and said as much. But to just say that about your coach who had almost 100 wins, more than 100 wins, that's a big statement to make,
And we've seen, Terry Pagula. I think when it comes to personnel, or his personnel in terms of like head coaches, general managers, I do think he takes too long to come in and make a move, especially with this Bills team where they've had a string of success, right? You look at the Sabres. Some issues there. Kevin Adams stayed too long, in my opinion. We could talk about Sabres on another day, but I do think the Brady move, I didn't like it at first, I'll be honest. Coming off that Broncos loss, you just have a feeling of wanting something new, like a just clean slate, wipe it clean, get everybody out of there. But I understand, that's not always necessarily the best course of action to do, but he's kind of warmed up to me, or I've likened the idea a little more over time. We'll see how it goes. I do wonder what kind of head coach will he be in terms of discipline? What kind of head coach will he be under high pressure, high stress?
Yeah.
Those kind of things are something that I'm concerned about. It'd be a difference like this. If you had Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback in his prime, we know Aaron Rodgers, albeit people think he's an asshole, but what he did command was a room. He commanded the room out of his players, the respect. He wasn't a good soldier. He's going to push back. And we know that's not Josh's leadership style. I'm not saying one's better than the other, but I think when you have a rookie head coach, I think, somebody has to step up, in my opinion. So maybe that's Josh. But maybe that's the two of them. Pete Carmichael.
We had this conversation. We had this conversation when Diggs left, though. And yeah. I remember distinctly having this conversation with you. Is we looked at each other and we're like, well, the one thing that now is this is Josh's offense. And can he handle that leadership, that pressure? And he responded with an MVP season, So maybe that's not a terrible thing to say to him, like, okay, it's not just the offense that's yours now. It's the team. This is your team. And, I don't know. I mean, I agree with you. One thing that I was saying, and I don't know if you had popped in already when I said it, but there's no trial job for being a head coach. Like, you can't see how somebody's going to react if it's just head coach, right? And so when you're making all the decisions, when you've got to make the call, when you've got to do it quick, that game management stuff, we found out McDermott had a problem with it. We talked about it a lot. But there's no practice for that. There's no trial run for that. You get preseason games, but before you hire somebody, there's no way to find out if the guy's got it or not. So that's going to be the first thing that I look for too is how does he handle game scenarios? Does he think clearly in those situations? Does he make good decisions? And I had said, you can point to across his career decisions that McDermott made that weren't great game management decisions, but I can point to one in the very last game that he made too. And this is something that you and I have never talked about. So I'll be interested to hear your take on it. Everybody talks about the overtime or the last drive. You made a huge mistake when you're up by 1, kicking that field goal to go up by 4. If you go for the touchdown there and try to make it an 8-point lead, well, you're in a better situation then. Because here's why. If a field goal does them no good, what do you gift them? 4th down. They're going to go for it every single time. A field goal does them no good. And so, analytics guys call it the field goal of death. If it puts you up by more than 3 points, you're gifting them the desperation. You're gifting them the opportunity to go for it every 4th down. And so if you're doing that, what you're saying is, I trust my guy to be able to tie the game. If that happens, if they drive down and score a touchdown, I know I only need a field goal to tie it back up and send it into overtime. Okay, well, if you trust them that much, then all you have to do is go for the touchdown and try to go up by 8 rather than going up by 4. And if you trust your guy, if you don't get the touchdown, you're only up by 1, they drive down, they kick a field goal, you should have plenty of time to go the other direction and tie the game just like you did. But then if they kick a field goal and they're up by 2 and you drive back down, guess what? That kick is to win, not to tie it. And they would have won the game on a last-second field goal. And so
I do think there's
it's decisions like
where
that.
You're going.
It's decisions like that. A field goal to put you up 4 does you almost no good, in my opinion.
No, you're absolutely right. I don't argue the validity of your statement. However, I will fight back and say this. Given the context of the situation, that defense was just trash. I mean, all season, in high pressure moments, the defense rarely stepped up. And you want to talk about that drive. How about we talk about the substitutions, the personnel management, where you put Dane Jackson on one of the fastest receivers in the league by himself.
Sure. And it was
Cam Lewis goes down.
It was the first thing they saw.
What do you do?
The first thing Sean
and
Payton
went right
did.
After it. Right after it.
He was in there for one play, and Sean Payton scored a touchdown on him.
When what's the safety? Darnell. What's that dude's name? The safety that came
Savage?
in. Darnell Savage. They scored 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. Well, and wasn't Sam Franklin in a play too? Like one play?
Yes, they scored 2 touchdowns, one on Darnell Savage, one on Dane Jackson right when they got in the game. They won off of your lack of knowing your personnel. The fact that you would even trot Dane Jackson out there.
But you didn't have any other choice, man. Like you didn't have any other option.
You put you manned him up with no safety help over top.
The call
was
the
problem.
Wild, yeah.
I mean, I'm just like,
you play cover 4 there for the one play.
How stupid?
Yeah.
This is just those are the things in the McDermott era that just kill me.
Yeah.
That just kill me. Yeah. Inexcusable.
But here's the thing it makes me angry when people blame Josh for that game. Did he have a terrible game? Yes. Did they have the lead with 2 minutes left to go? Yeah, they did. You know what I mean? Like, he brought them all the way back. So talk about the fumble before the half if you want. Sure. It cost them 3 points. Threw interceptions. He did not have a good game. And they were still a bad coaching call away from winning it. You know what I mean? That
tells you how good Josh Allen is.
Right? I say to Bronco fans, if he played a clean game, do we beat you by 30? You know what I mean? Like, what are you really saying?
James Cook fumbling, getting hit by Alex Singleton. Like, I mean, listen, But
here's the thing. Hold on, I want to stop you because I want to roll you back just for a second.
All right, go ahead.
Josh's entire career, we have begged for them to get the stop. We don't need the defense to be great. We don't need it to be top 5. There was a time when it was in your Hyde and Poyer and Trey White and Milano or all pro days. There was a time where it was a top 5 and still a top 5 defense. There was a time where they were that good. But that's not what we've been begging for. What we've been begging for is for them to get the stop that you need to win those games. And guess what? You got it in the Bronco game. The first possession of overtime, you got it. You got the stop. You have to go win the game there. You have to go win the game there. They got you the stop. Whatever you want to say about the defense, as pissed off as I could be at them, they got the stop that you needed.
Okay, now, but see, you're missing context because yes, they got the stop. I'm gonna tell you how. The offense, listen, man.
0-0.
When you're relying on
touchdown
Brandon Cooks, a beat up Dalton Kincaid against the best defense or top 2 defense in the league. I'm sorry, but this is the NFL. Those guys get paid too. It's not that easy. Who is he going to throw the ball to? Like, guess what? Hold on. Before you go there,
didn't have to take the shot. He did.
When the Bills need to play, what they do? What they always do on offense last year? Screen or mesh. That's all they had in their bag, and that was a person because the receivers couldn't get open. So
then why is your play a shot down the field?
Because guess what? And it goes back to this. When you have Josh Allen fighting for his ever-loving life all season long, you get bad habits and you make bad decisions because you're trying too much. They should have just called it.
They were walking up and down the field. And that is a terrific Denver defense. They were walking up and down.
Yeah.
Walking up and down the field.
You can only disguise mesh so many times, bro.
I know, but you don't have to throw the bomb there. But if you give Josh
Yeah.
Allen that
No, you
option,
don't.
I mean, right? Like that's
Okay.
a little bit on Brady.
Okay. You
Because if
can't
you
fault
call
Josh on that. The week
I
before
know.
it worked.
I'm not.
The
I'm
week
not.
before it worked. Talk about that. Brandon
worked-
Cooks, Jacksonville.
It worked that week too. It was there. He was open. It was one-on-one coverage. Like that's open in the NFL. The way that Cooks
talking
got
about
that
Dawson
ball,
Knox?
that was open in the NFL.
Dawson Knox, he walks in. He could have done 3 cartwheels and got into the end zone. That's how open he was. Josh missed the throw.
Yeah.
You got to make those throws. You got to make those throws.
I just think Joe Brady don't call that play there. Because if you tempt Josh with that shot downfield, what's he gonna do? He's gonna take it.
That's a great call out. I'm gonna give you props on that, Rob. You're a thinking man right there.
So
you're right.
And that's why I wanted to say all this, because I think it circles all the way back to when you're the head coach in that situation. Is that what we're expecting from the Bills over the next couple of years here? Is that he's just calling shots? Like, let's go.
Listen,
gas.
What Josh say this week? If you knock on the door long enough, somebody's going to open it.
That's not always true. I wish that was true. I'm
not saying it is. I'm telling you that's how he's thinking. And that's why they go get a guy like DJ Moore.
Hey, I love it.
They're gassing up Joshua Palmer to do something this year. I have my doubts. We'll see. So what they're saying is, okay, we're going to give you a little bit more to work with, and hopefully Dalton Kincaid can summon some good luck in terms of health and be another weapon to the offense.
Yeah,
so
let's talk about that here in a second. I just want to get to Kenny G's comment before we do, but we should definitely we can talk offense first here. He said the other thing that killed them, just like most teams going into a prevent defense, it prevents the deep ball. It leaves everything else wide open. I think you got to keep playing D. I 100% agree with you. I think that's something that is why people are so excited about Jim Leonard. He's known to be very aggressive. It's a Rex Ryan type, Buddy Ryan type aggressive defense, and he's not just going to sit back and prevent. So I feel like that's what people are so excited about, is exactly what you're saying when it comes to Buffalo fans. But let's talk about the offense first. Thoughts on Kincaid not getting surgery on his knee?
I'm no doctor.
Yeah, me neither.
But just fucking do it. Get it done. Take the time you need. Had he done it right when the season ended, he'd be ready to go right now. Or really close to it.
And I understand people when they say, like, it takes 2 full years to get back. We had that conversation a lot with Von Miller. You know, it wasn't an ACL for Kincaid, but that, you know, you just don't feel right on that knee for a whole year afterwards, even if you're playing.
Okay, that's fair.
But I'm in your camp still. Do it. You know what I mean? I just think it's going to be something that
today's medicine. Today's medicine, you see Alex Hoyt coming back from a Achilles tear. Stephon Diggs came back. Oh, Michael Hoyt, sorry. Yeah. I had a friend named Alex Hoyt. But Stephon Diggs came back 9 months after a ACL tear and played well.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's body's different. So what looks right for Michael Hoyt may not work for Dalton Kincaid. But what I'll tell you is this. I'm tired of the excuses. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Like he's been dealing with this PCL for how many years? 2 years? Like, come on, man. It's irresponsible. Now, I know he's got a family to think about or you know, contract and stuff like that. But I'll tell you what, man, he's got this year. And if this, I don't want to get to week 12. This is a random week. I don't want to get to week 12 and we're still talking about his damn knee. This right. PCL.
But we are. The whole season.
Exactly.
You're going to feel like you're one play away the whole time.
Yep. And you see the difference when he's in the game. You know, like he's a threat. He's a weapon. You look at the metrics when he's on and not on the field. I mean, the offense averages 5 or 6 more points a game.
Well,
you know,
but part of the problem is, and this is something that I've heard a lot of the podcasters talking about recently, and I think even GR was talking about it. The usage rate for the tight ends is too predictable. And it's why Dawson Knox has been your tight end, because you can either run or pass when he's on the field. But because Kincaid was banged up, you only had him out there for pass plays. And because Spencer Hawes is who Spencer Hawes is, you only had him out there for run plays. So you're subbing guys onto the field, and the defense knows exactly what to look for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's a problem. But I do think also that that's due to a lack of personnel. That's due to they knew his PCL was a problem going into the season, and they did nothing about it the season before. And so now they don't want him blocking because, you're locked up with a guy. What's going to happen? You're 13 personnel. You're on the outside, right, trying to seal an edge. And what happens? That knee just gives out, or somebody rolls it, and then he's done.
Or you get whipped, yeah.
Or you get whipped. But so you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And that's, to me, it's his body. I guess they did say he put on like 15 pounds of muscle or something in the off season. But like, how would he?
Does that make you feel better? It doesn't make me feel better.
I mean, it makes me feel a little bit better. Yeah. I mean, if he's putting on good weight where he can withstand some more, wear and tear on his body. Now, we do have to remember, though, Dalton Kincaid was a basketball player, so he has a basketball body. Trying to play a grown man's game of football, it's going to take time for that to kind of get acclimated, right?
Stop it,
bro. It's true.
How many years? Is it 3 or 4 now? Get
4.
out of here. This is your 4th year. No more. I listen. I would have listened to that year 1. I would have listened to it year 2 and been angry about it. There's no way I'm listening to that in year 4.
Well, it's ringing true. Way. Either he's a glass man. I don't think he's a glass man.
I think he's got a problem that has been a problem this entire time. He hasn't had any other problems. This is the problem, and he needs to get it fixed, and he didn't. So I don't know.
Oh man. Well, was his PCL hurting him when he dropped that pass in Kansas City?
You don't think? Okay. So everybody takes the snapshot of the ball going through his arms, right? And says he should have caught it.
He should have.
Okay, fine. Josh flung that ball up in the air, and he had to hard stop and come back to get that ball. Now, Josh did it out of desperation. There was no Kansas City player there. That was the right read. It's the guy he should have thrown to, but it wasn't him running a straight route and diving and dropping the ball. He had hold on, just let me finish. He had to stop and come back to where the ball was, and he was able to get close enough that he dives for it, and then that's how you get the picture. So do you want to tell me that a hurt knee didn't slow him down? That if he could have stopped harder, pushed off harder, that he might not have caught that football because he didn't have to dive, because he made back there quicker? Because I think that would have been the case.
Well, Rob, after 2 years of not podcasting with you, you've grown soft.
What? I think that would have been the case. Listen, I think if he had a healthy knee,
that's bullshit.
He gets back there without having to dive. Okay, fine.
Catch the ball, bro.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
The ball.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying
if you were Dalton Kincaid,
the injury affected him because he didn't get. He could have caught it standing up.
Yeah. I mean, you can't. It's like, and I partly kid, right? Like, I have, I'm like, okay, dude. Like, I get it. In the big moment, you didn't come through. But at the same time, I've seen you make way more difficult catches than that. You gotta catch that. You gotta execute. Josh, you gotta recognize that blitz sooner. That's on Josh.
I mean, it caught him totally off guard. And he's talked about that a couple of times, how much he got caught off guard with that one.
Josh Allen, and he's come out and said this offseason. He said, I have to be more of an anticipatory passer. Josh likes to see it and rip it. He plays that gunslinger football, and he's got to balance that with sometimes you got to throw in anticipation, and you have to recognize the blitz sooner. Now, Spags threw something at him that he didn't show it all season And it was one of those, like, the only one time, and Josh, so I understand it.
But
It's the perfect storm.
on fourth down in the fourth quarter, down when you're down, don't you have to expect the unexpected? Like,
right.
shouldn't you be saying to yourself, he's gonna throw something at me that I've never seen before?
Right. So I don't know, man. I hate discussing this stuff because we're always like one play away. It feels,
it's gotten ugly.
A couple play, and it's just like, it's so demoralizing. It really is. So going back to the original,
is this why you quit? Is this why you took last year off? Is
that... You know what? You learn in therapy. Oh man, the reflections. Decisions should have made sooner.
Let's turn it back, because I do want to talk about the whole offense. We started talking about Dalton Kincaid and kind of got off on a diatribe. But, I mean, let's talk DJ Moore. It seems like the reporters that I hear talk about him are, like, shocked at how good he is, that he's dominating out there on the field. And I'm just like, why is that a surprise to you? The man is a consistent 1,000-yard wide receiver. He had one down year with a coach that he didn't get along with. Like, what? Of course he's dominating.
Okay, you went to school, so it's like the hot transfer kid coming to school. Like, she's just a dime. Like, and you have all these other, like, just everybody's kind of mid but then you get this new person in school, and you're like, golly. And that's what it's like. It's been a wasteland at receiver for the Bills since Diggs left. They haven't had the production. They haven't had the star power. So someone comes in there that's a smooth route runner, veteran. He's kind of has a bigger frame. Yeah, he's a physical catch point receiver, can do a little bit of everything well, right? And of course they're going to be like, Lolly, oh my God, look at this guy, right? I mean, you're going to get that, right? That's what that is. I'm not saying I think he's a good receiver.
I just feel like you should have known it. It's not like we didn't watch him.
You should have known it.
It's not like we didn't watch him in Carolina. It's not like we didn't watch him his first couple of years in Chicago. Like, come on.
The postseason in Chicago last season. I mean, that touchdown against Green Bay.
Yeah, that was crazy.
What a grab. What a route. Yeah, so I like DJ Moore in this offense. I do think that he's going to be better than what people expect. I do see him being like an 1,100-yard receiver this year, maybe 8 or 9 touchdowns, and probably, 85 to 90 catches is what I see him doing. I think that'd be perfect for us to get that production out of him.
Well, and I think the question isn't, what do you think his numbers are? Because I don't think they're going to be as eye-popping as you might hope. I think the question is, what does he do for the other guys? How much more do you get out of Shakir because he's not taking on the best guy? Can you get Josh Palmer as a third option to be adequate to be a good NFL wide receiver, which I think you can? Can you get something from Kincaid and Knox and Cook? And all of that ups just a little bit because you have this guy who is taking on the toughest assignment and still winning.
He raises the floor and the ceiling of your offense because everybody outside of Khalil Shakir last season played out of position.
Right.
Mm. And I would even say Khalil Shakir played out of position because, his average depth of target was like 2 or 3 yards, which is criminal. Yeah. So what he does, he is the stabilizing foundation to your receiving core. And now it gives guys like, if Joshua Palmer is healthy, he gets to do what he needs to do. Keon Coleman can fit where he needs to fit and not being a wide receiver number 2 or number 1 at times, right? But he could just just be a wide receiver 2 or 4 or however you want. Khalil Shakir can run real wide receiver routes now. And that's what you need. So if you go get Brandon Cooks off the street, now you got a deep threat. And now you have a complete wide receiver stable that you can work with.
So before you hopped on, I said 2 things that I think you're kind of reiterating here. Like Cooks, if I bring him in on a veteran deal, same way I brought in Poyer and Gabe last year and let him be on the practice squad and make that his training camp. And by the time the playoffs comes around, if I have an injury, I've got a guy. Perfect. I want that wide receiver depth, right? And same thing with Keon Coleman. There was an article that ESPN wrote that was like, hey, would trades that could still be made in training camp, and it was Coleman to the Colts for a 4th. And it's just like, how does that help you win the Super Bowl right now? Like, Coleman is a spot where he's your 4th wide receiver. Don't you want a young guy who's shown some flashes there in that spot to maybe develop and see if he can do more than he's shown so far? Like, I want Coleman on this team. We've gotten over the statement part of it. Like, the owner said something stupid, shocking. But I think Joe Brady mended that fence. And so, like, you're telling me that I don't want a young, athletic wide receiver as depth, so I'm not throwing to Trent Sherfield in a playoff game against Kansas City? You know what I mean? Like, yes, please.
Right. Yeah, I like, and I didn't even mention Dalton Kincaid and Knox in that fold, right? We're just talking about the receivers. So I think you have a full deck of cards to play with, and I think Josh Allen's going to explode this year.
So I went on a little diatribe about, like, I don't understand how people say that the roster is so bad. It's, you heard a lot of, it's Josh and nobody else. And I kind of went through the timeline of, well, when Bean first got here, the problems were offensive line and quarterback. You got a top 5 offensive line now, you've got a quarterback. Then in that little middle period when you had when Josh first started getting good, he needs a true number 1 wide receiver. He went and got one. Then it was, well, what if Josh Allen had a running game? You know what I mean? Imagine he didn't have to do it all himself. Great. You had the NFL's leading rusher last year. You know what I mean? And so, like, it's one of those things where I don't think the cupboard's empty. I think there's a lot of weapons. And yes, Josh scores every year. But I think this offense has a lot of talent on it, man. And I think they can dominate this year. I really do. It just, the unknowns are if the head coach being the play caller is going to be able to handle both duties,
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the better rosters they've had. Now they don't have a lot of blue chip talent, and I do think they're waiting on these young guys to kind of develop. So,
but here's the thing:
we're going to see.
So they don't have blue chip talent from other people, but is James Cook blue chip talent?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Is Deion Dawkins blue chip talent?
Not anymore.
No. That's interesting. We'll go back to that. Is Spencer Brown blue chip talent?
I wouldn't say so.
Is Connor McGovern blue chip talent?
Suffered. No.
You don't think McGovern is? That's interesting. Is DJ Moore blue chip talent?
No.
Okay. So you're saying the only blue chip on there is Josh Allen?
Yeah.
Interesting. So I pulled up this article, and let me see if I can get it on here now. Bill Barnwell wrote an article that went through every team in the league and asked what, or how many, I guess I should say, Hall of Famers are there on this roster? What do you think he put? And he ranked them, right?
I hope he just put one.
It was definite Hall of Famer, and then it was like could be Hall of Famers. Then it was like still work to do, but like in the conversation, like your career could end as a Hall of Famer. How many do you think?
Josh Allen's the only one on there.
Is that what you think?
That's what I know. Hall of Fame?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, Hall of Fame, bro. That's no like. That's a big deal. Like that's not like.
Can you see it? Can you see it?
I can't see it.
You can't see it?
No, I can't see it.
Oh, are you watching our stream somewhere? Here, let me see. I think I can share it with you. So hold on. Let me get
see the chat.
Let me get fancy here. Okay, can you see it now?
I see refuse to connect. ESPN.com refuse to connect. So
pull up our Twitch or something like that.
All right, hold on. Well, I don't even know. Okay, hold up. Let me go to Twitch.
I was gonna say it should be on your Twitter because I tagged you saying that we were going on, so you can just click the link right there.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, of course, Josh Allen's on the list, and he has Josh Allen as in. It says, his other levels are on the cusp, work to do, keep it up, and missing out. Looks like those are the 5 types.
Deion Dawkins, James Cook, or keep it up.
Deion Dawkins not on the list.
Okay.
James Cook
it's got me.
Is on the list.
As what?
Did you pop in yet? You didn't pop in. I'll just read it to you. That's fine.
It's going through commercials, man.
He's on there as work to do.
Okay, now I can see it.
So it says Cook is still only 26, has 3 consecutive Pro Bowl appearances under his belt. He's 5th in rushing yards over that span, although he also leads all backs in fumbles over that stretch with 10. Cook has best in the league potential if he protects the football and steals a few touchdowns away from Allen, but he'll need to have a couple seasons at that level to have a shot at the Hall.
I mean, he ain't wrong.
Okay. You see who the other one is on that list?
Spencer Brown.
Yeah. What you think?
Nah, I mean... Nah, I love Spencer Brown. I do think his pass pro left something to be desired last year.
Okay.
And I'm not just talking about the Houston game. Like, I think he was struggling with injuries or something, but him and Deion got out in the hog last year, believing the hype. And I just think the attention to detail wasn't there, in my opinion. Now, Spencer Brown in the run game, phenomenal. But in the pass game, struggle.
They gave up more sacks last year than they had in the past, like 3 or 4. So yeah. I hear you. Listen, so it was interesting. We had talked about Dawkins a couple of years ago, and I had told you I was unsure, and you thought I was maybe being a little bit too harsh. And so, and now I think we're flipped a little bit. So I don't think your assessment of his year last year is wrong, but before I tell you my thoughts, I want to know what you think going into this year. Do you think he's a declining player, or do you think he fell asleep a little bit for 1 year? And I mean, we've all heard the stories about how he's back in at a lower weight and working hard and more spry than he's been in a long time. So what are your thoughts on him this year?
I mean, listen, for him to say he lost, 40, 45 pounds, okay, that's great. Great on you, but you have to play an NFL game at that weight that you're playing at. He said this is the lightest he's been since his first year in the league or something like that. I don't think he's a declining player, but I do think, I mean, I hate to say it, but he was doing a lot of things off the field for his career, like sponsors deals and just being out doing the thing, right? And I do think, your body changes, the game changes, and it kind of left him by last year where he just wasn't in the greatest shape that he should have been in. I don't know why. I mean, only he can answer that. So I do think, maybe the mindset, you could tell Deion's locked and loaded. He really wants to prove to the fans, to himself, to the team that he's taking this year serious. So I'm going to hold off and say, you got to show it to us this year.
But it doesn't sound like doesn't sound like you have much hope for it.
It's not that I don't have hope. It's just I got to see it. With this Bills team, I'm tired of living with hope. I got to see it now. I got to see it.
You realize only one team at the end of the year gets to.
Don't care.
Yeah.
And I know, I'm not saying the season is unsuccessful by any means, But it's like Groundhog Day. We
Yeah,
go
I
through
get
the
it.
motions of the off season. We talk about it, and it's the same damn storylines to an extent, but the names are different. And I'm just like, can you please at least beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, get to the Super Bowl? That's it. And let's see what happens. But I'm sick and tired of these. We analyze these losses, and I'm just like, my heart can't do it, bro. I can't do it no more.
Mental health guy says I'm with Sterls on this one. Josh is the only one who is a Hall of Famer in my opinion. It's just
Yeah, and
interesting.
he will.
I just think it's more a PR thing than anything about who, if this roster is good or not. Like, I feel like it's the national media thing. It's so easy for them to say, like, oh, it's Josh and nobody else, because then they don't have to learn anybody else and make a case for why they're good.
No. No. No, I don't think it's that shallow. If they had other Hall of Fame worthy players, they'd be listed. The Bills don't have another blue chipper that's worthy of being on that list.
Well,
I'm sorry.
listen, so we've talked about that for a long time. As far as like establish somebody else to be on that list that's just like in or keep it going. No, I agree with you. They don't have anybody else of that level. And for a long time, we've said they need another blue chip talent. They don't fall off trees, you know? And so this is where I understand the frustration with Bean. You got to make one of those moves.
You got to.
Whether it's Micah Parsons or Vita Vea or
bro.
I mean,
how many
one of these blue chip guys? You have to pull the trigger on it.
How many times have I texted you and be like, "Hey, I just heard that they're in on such and such" before it hits the media?
Yeah,
and it just never happens.
Yeah. Well, because they are in on them. They are in on them.
Yeah,
they pull the trigger, man.
Dude, like, and I don't know and I haven't heard anything, so I don't know if Vita Vea is actually on the trade block.
The word I've heard is that he thinks he's on the trade block, and Tampa absolutely does not. So that's what
everybody can be had for a price. This is if you're looking for the perfect move, this is it.
So we'll get there. Don't go into it yet. Let's stick with the offense. We'll talk about Vita Vea in a minute. But to your point, yes, this team is devoid of blue chip talent, and I think you have guys that have potential to be that. James Cook, I think, is one of them. I'm surprised you're as far down on Spencer Brown as you are. I think
I'm not down on Spencer Brown. He's just not a Hall of Fame level player.
Okay.
I'm not down on him. I think he's a very good and he's a top 10 right tackle in the league.
I agree with Bill Barnwell. Top 10 means if you take another step, you're in Hall of Fame territory. You know what I mean? That's why he's in the work to do category, and I think that's the spot for him.
And my net worth is low, but if I get $1 billion, I'm a billionaire, right? Like, so come on, man.
And which do you think is more likely, you becoming a billionaire or Spencer Brown being a Hall of Fame tackle?
Neither. About the same odds, actually. About the same odds.
So you're down on him compared to me.
No, I'm not down. I see it clearly.
I think it's much more likely that Spencer Brown is a Hall of Fame tackle
than
you
might have an argument. Right. Yeah, might have an argument.
I got you. But I'm saying his career could end up that way. Okay. As far as the offense goes, is there any concerns that you have that you want to talk about before we switch over to defense?
No, let's go defense.
Okay. I want to take a break before we do. I want to run and grab a drink. And I want to run a couple minutes of ads so people don't have to wait through pre-roll when they come in like you had to when you logged in there. So let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll talk about defense. We'll have some chatter about Vita Vea in there, blue chips in general. Sterls hanging with us from the Best Western the La Quinta Inn or his grandmother's house. We're not sure.
Oh man. Yo, you ain't right, bro.
Is it? Is it?
That's a savage move.
Which one? Which one's more insulting? La Quinta, Best Western, or your grandma's house?
While we're on break, I'm buying curtains. I'm pulling up Amazon right now.
You look like you just set up in somebody's grandma's Airbnb. You know what I mean? So
golly,
this is brutal. That's your house. You own that.
It's brutal.
Okay.
Yes.
Live from the Best Western. We'll be right back right after this. All right, we back. Do you have my sound on somewhere? I'm hearing myself. Do you?
Who, me?
Yeah, you gotta mute me. I can't be hearing myself when I'm talking. We're back. I'm live from my house. Sterls live from a Motel 6 in Wichita.
Oh wow, this is brutal.
is live from a McDonald's from 1990. Sterling hanging out with us.
Ordered.
What you doing right now, Sterls? Why don't you tell the people? Why don't you tell the people what you're doing?
I just ordered some blackout curtains, so I can get rid of this. And the next time you see me next week, it'll look different.
Okay. All right. Well, until then, he's live from the DMV.
Oh, brutal. Just brutal.
I mean, I told you I wasn't going to say anything. You brought it up. So.
Well, I mean, it was the elephant in the room, wasn't it?
No, it was the curtains in the room, actually.
That too. That too.
All right.
I know.
I want to talk Bills defense here, and I feel like we're going to spend more time on it than I planned to. So maybe we don't get to overall NFL talk. And if we don't, you'll have to come back and hear us talk about it later. But let's start with this Bills defense. There is a lot of excitement around Jim Leonhard. I think it's warranted. I'm excited as well. I think the thing that people haven't really talked about is how much better the fact that the personnel on this team might fit better in Jim Leonhard's defense than it did in Sean McDermott's defense, which is kind of crazy. But I think that there's an argument to be made for that. There is one big piece that they're missing. It'll be interesting to see how they go about filling that spot. But I do think there's one important question to ask about this defense, to talk about how good it really is. And I don't think anybody's doing it. So I will sit on that as Sterls. You give us your thoughts on this defense, and we'll see if you have the same one important question that I do, because I think there's just one thing that'll decide how good this defense is.
I mean, I feel like you're setting me up. And two, you're sitting on information. That's cool. Like if that's how you want to treat our fans, you go right ahead. It's
I mean, they'll hear it. It's called a tease. It's effective radio.
What?
That's what you do.
The world is hard enough out there. You don't need to make people wait for information that you already know.
I'll get there.
But hey,
we're here to have you analyze, Sterls. Tell us what's going on.
It's been 2 years. I know nothing. However, I'm excited about a new direction on defense. I think with Sean McDermott's defense, you needed almost this perfect build archetype for different positions on the defense. Like, your defensive ends needed to be these do-all kind of, Swiss Army knife defensive ends, right? I think you live in a world where I think players are more specialized to do a couple really good things, to be really good or elite at something, right? Ed Oliver, for instance, is a smaller defensive end. He's a pursuit style, gap busting, defensive end, where him going up and trying to, split a guard and a tackle or guard and a center in the A gap isn't always going to suit him best, right? I think that's why the secondary always played well, because they had guys that kind of fit the mold. I think that's why we struggled a lot on the defensive line, because we didn't have, based off that defense, we didn't have the personnel to really do it. The linebackers in that scheme, they had to think too much. The defense was built from the back end, right? I think Jim Leonard's defense is built from the trenches out. And I think it's going to allow players to play faster. I don't think you have to have, these etched out body types to play defensive end, to play outside linebacker, or to Caleb Elamzor is a perfect example for what it looks like at inside linebacker. He's like 230 pounds, 6'2", 3", but he's a tank. So I think you give this, the defense has a little bit more ability to breathe, in my opinion. They're going to play fast, they're going to play free, whereas they weren't able to do that in Sean McDermott's defense because they had to think a lot.
Well, you say that, but this defense isn't built from the trenches out. I mean, what's the one thing in this defense that they're absolutely missing?
Hold on. No, I know the defense. His defenses are typically built from the trenches. I think it'll take him 2 or 3 years to get there. It's not there now, but he has some personnel to work with. He has players that fit a little bit better in a 3-4 style defense than he did in this 4-3, nickel defense that Sean McDermott employed, or 4-2-5 defense that Sean McDermott employed for so many years. So you look at guys like Landon Jackson, and
that's not the example I'd go with. Go ahead, tell me.
Well, but he was one of those guys that put some weight on, playing in a similar style defense at Arkansas. TJ Sanders, another guy that played in a 3-4 front in college.
Yeah.
So those are, and then you look at Maxwell Harrison is one that, even though you may look at him and go, wow, like he's not a press man corner, but he has man capabilities. He's more of a zone corner. He's going to have to be better in man situations, man press. Can he do it? We don't know. I think Cole Bishop is a great switch over to this defense and his style. CJ Gardner-Johnson is going to help a lot in that regard. So Bradley Chubb, Greg Rousseau. I'm curious to see how Greg Rousseau fits in. It's the same style of defense he played in college. So you're getting guys in here. Michael Hoyt, another one that played in the 3-4 with the Rams. So you have more scheme fits than you actually, or than I even realized coming into this. But it's about playing together as one unit. Can they do it? I like to see it. Yeah, but I like Jim Leonard as a defensive coordinator a lot, actually. It's going to be fresh.
I think it's crazy how much better some of these guys fit into this defense than they did into the Sean McDermott defense. To your point, TJ Sanders, Terrell Bernard, Joe Andreessen.
Yeah, another 3-4 defense at Baylor.
At Baylor, yep. Those guys, Andreessen and Bernard, I think fit much better in this defense than they did in McDermott's defense.
Yep.
Elamzor, they knew they were making the switch, so that's not quite the same thing. But
for sure.
But guys like Ed Oliver and Walker, I think now I would like them both to play defensive tackle, not nose tackle. But you're probably going to have to play Deion Walker.
Dwayne Carter's doing that this year, is what we've been told.
We'll see.
And I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. And I think that goes to kind of the worst kept secret in the room, that the one position that you're missing is Vita Vea. Right? It's a 2-gap nose tackle that can still get a little bit of pass rush. And when you're talking about blue chip talent, like, put his name on the board, right? And so there's been a lot of guys who have been blue chip talent who you've apparently swung and missed on. But there's no better fit, bigger bigger need in terms of, I guess you could say Micah Parsons, because they needed pass rush and they didn't have it. But in terms of fit and need, like, I just don't think there's been, maybe since Diggs, I don't think there's been somebody who's reportedly out there available that fits those two things as much as Vita Vea.
Yeah, man. I mean, Vita Vea, I think what he would give you in that freaking room is a lot, dude. I mean, the fact that he can two gap, he's a defensive tackle who can pass rush and is excellent against the run. Excellent. I think in the 2025 season, PFF gave him a 72.8 grade, which is really good. I mean, it ranked 20th, but he played above that, you know. He had 51 total pressures, bro. 51. And a 77% pass rush grade.
He's an animal.
I think that's pretty damn good.
He's an animal.
He's him. He's an animal.
He's
4.5
an animal.
sacks.
And if you put him next to Ed Oliver,
39
Deion
hurries.
Walker, I mean, come on, man. Come on. That is a monster defensive line. I think Bradley Chubb still has it. You got Michael Hoyt or Russo on the other side. I mean, that would be just, the front seven would be so good.
Yeah. So that was just his pass rushing metrics. Now in terms of stopping the run, 21 defensive stops. Just think if you added 21 more defensive stops to the Bills' defensive room last year, you know how much better the defense would have played? 34 total tackles and stopping the run. 16 solo, 7 for loss.
7 for loss would be, I mean,
dude, like, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yep.
That's huge. So, but
from
again,
a guy who, like, you would accept none of those stats from if he could control both gaps. You know what I mean? Like the pass rushing stats you read off, the tackles for losses, like you would be okay with him not doing any of that if he controlled the center and the 2A gaps and just ate bodies in the middle of that defense. You'd be still very happy with him. Like that goes to show how incredible he is. But I don't think it's likely. I know. It is the thing that the Bills defense needs.
But think about the stunts they could run with Ed and Deion Walker. I mean, there's so much variation that you could do.
Guys like Dorian Williams then blitzing.
Oh man,
you know what I mean? Like,
I mean Terrell Bernard.
Bernard blitzing, yeah.
That's what he's really good at.
Yeah.
I just think that it's one of those things. This is the one you can you get it done being like, let's forget the past. Let's forget, the times where you didn't get it done.
People are saying it's not even going to cost a first round pick. Like that's, I mean,
what's the holdup?
And right, that is what I'm saying. And then there's a thing where like he probably wants to play on a team in California. So he might come here and not sign. Okay. Let's go win a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like,
how does $26 million a year sound?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can.
You wouldn't mind Nicole then?
I was gonna say, I think you could change his mind with $26 million and a Lombardi Trophy. So
yeah,
I mean, even if it's a 1-year rental, I'm still calling and I'm still giving up significant assets to make that happen, even if it's only for 1 year.
We shouldn't even talk about it because it's not going to happen.
I know. All right, so I think very obviously the deficiency of this defense is on the defensive line. You have said your piece about Dwayne Carter by not saying anything at all.
I just don't know what he is. I don't know what he is. I don't know. And
I think he's got a better chance to be the guy that I just described, the 2-gap nose tackle that doesn't do anything but does handle the center and handle the 2 gaps. I think he's got a better chance to be that than he had a chance to be anything. He's not Ed Oliver, you know what I mean? He's not a penetrating defensive tackle. So if you want to ask me what's his best chance to be successful in the NFL? It might be this, right?
It might be, but I mean, you throw on 30 pounds in an off season. Like, is that good weight? Don't know.
I mean, you were
Have you?
ballyhooing Dalton Kincaid's 15, so
I'm just saying, man. It's that, but we're not asking Dalton Kincaid to play in the trenches. Being in the trenches is a different ball game, right? It's a
yeah.
different ball game. You know that.
I hear you, but it's li- again, if I think he can do anything, can he stand up a center and control him and control two gaps? And even if that weight is dead weight, it still helps with that. Now, those NFL centers are still going to be able to move it, but dead weight still helps with that. So I don't know. I mean, I think that's clearly one of the things. I don't want to see him on the field. I don't think that's your optimal lineup. You think that's your optimal lineup?
I don't know. I don't know, man. I want to see it play out. So I'm gonna give Jim Leonard the benefit of the doubt. If that's who he thinks his best personnel is, that's who he wants to start. I mean, shit, give him a chance, an opportunity at 330 pounds that he says he is, or what the Bills, what they say he is, and see how he handles it. We're gonna find out in training camp though, but we haven't heard anything about him.
No, we have. Here you go. You ready? So Nick Sabato of the hold on, let me make sure I get it right. The Niagara Gazette and Lockport Union Sun Journal, and the co-host of the Buffalo Press Box. He's the sports editor and reporter, was out at camp today, and he tweeted out who the starting 11 was on the first run. You ready for this?
Let's hear it.
Nose tackle, Deion Walker. And I think that's what you're going to get. I don't think it's going to be Dwayne Carter. Your defensive tackles or defensive ends, depending on how you want to say it, Ed Oliver and Sanders. Your outside linebackers, Chubb and Rousseau. Your inside linebackers, Bernard and Williams, which is interesting. Your cornerbacks, Benford and Hairston, and your safeties, Bishop and Gardner Johnson.
I like it.
I like it too. My only problem with it is I would rather Walker be at defensive end or defensive tackle, depending on what you call it.
Right.
I'd rather him not on the nose. But I don't think you have a better option than him. I think he's your best option right
now. I mean, I think of matchups, and you look at, like, if you're going up against, the Ravens, where they want to smash mouth and run it right up the spine of the defense, Deion Walker doesn't do well at the point of attack when he's stood up.
Yeah.
Right? It's a leverage battle, and he loses it.
He's a penetrator.
So, yeah, he's a penetrator. So, I don't think that bodes well. But, again, like, McDermott's defense is getting gashed.
Yeah.
Getting gashed, right? So, we'll see. I would rather Caleb Elam-Zor start over either Bernard or Dorian.
That's been the talking camp. That he is.
I hope that happens.
He's there to take a starting job. That's his demeanor. He has been getting a lot of run with the ones. He's been making the calls in the huddle. And that him next to Bernard is the likeliest outcome. But it was interesting that, I mean, listen, it's just the first team snap, So
right.
Read into it as much as you want to, but that was Dorian Williams was out there for the first team snap. So, okay. So what do you think decides the success of this defense?
How they attack the quarterback. That's going to be it.
That's what everybody thinks. Everybody thinks it's the pass rush.
It's yeah. I mean, the Broncos they made a name off of feasting, right? So I'm looking at that as the model. You have to be able to effectively get after the quarterback. You got the guys in coverage. I'm not worried about the secondary, right? But you got to have guys to get to the quarterback. That's going to define success for this defense.
And see, I think you hit the nail on the head. You just didn't realize that you did. what will determine the success of this defense? The one burning question that you can ask to find out if this defense is going to be good or not: can the secondary not be good, be elite? If the secondary can be elite, then you're going to have coverage sacks. I mean, you got guys who will get there. And any pressure that you generate, I think, is a bonus. And so, yeah, could they turn out to be great and that drives the defense, the pass rushers? Sure, they could. But I think what's more likely is that you have an elite defensive backfield that makes those pass rushers look better. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think Benford switching to a man scheme. I think he's more than capable of it. I think he's more than capable of following around a number one wide receiver. We saw them do that at times when they were afraid of somebody. And so I believe in his ability to do that. I think Hairston can make the transition to a man-to-man corner. I think he absolutely has the athletic profile for it. I'm not overly concerned about it. I think IGB is going to be a good third corner there. I don't think he's got a shot at the starting job, but I think he's going to be a good third corner there. I'm not worried about him being on the field and taking on somebody's third or fourth wide receiver. And when you have guys like D. Alford and, some other safeties that you can maybe drop in the box and have them play man, I feel really good about this coverage unit. And then that allows for Cole Bishop to be, and I almost said it and I stopped myself. He's incredibly talented. I don't think he's this guy, but I'm relating it because of the defense, not because of Bishop's talent level. So I want to say that, but it allows him to be Ed Reed, right? Like, it allows him just freedom back there. If you can do everything else, then he can just be back there and make plays. And he has shown glimpses of being very good at that. I think back to that interception he had in the Saints game where he just comes out of nowhere on this little lob pass and picks it off. Like, that is the guy that he can be. And so you put CJ Gardner-Johnson next to him, who's a good partner for him in that defensive backfield, I think. And you have corners that I trust. Can this secondary be elite? Can it run this defense?
I think so. I think that Christian Benford, the safeties, and I'm a little I like Maxwell Harrison. I think he's going to fit well. I think he'll struggle against bigger, more physical wide receivers like T. Higgins, like he did last year. But I think the secondary is going to be great. I would even say collectively as a whole, Buffalo's secondary is better than Denver's. Now, obviously, Patrick Surtain is like the best corner in the league. But overall, I like Buffalo's secondary.
Yeah, and listen, when you look at metrics, and I'm not trying to say he's the best corner in the league, but when you look at metrics, every time you see Pat Surtain on the list, guess who's number 2? Benford.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's a terrific corner that doesn't get the shine that I think he should.
None.
And so it's going to be different this year because he's going to have to play man. But if he keeps playing at that level, like, you can run the defense through the secondary the way that Denver did. I mean, Denver still has incredible pass rushers, but I just think it helps Denver's pass rushers how good their secondary is,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you cover up for guys like Riley Moss.
I think Riley Moss is a good corner. I think he's a good corner.
Yeah, I don't think he's bad. I just think, because they play so much press man, he gets caught in the bind.
I do think that. And I love Jaquan McMillan. Like, I wanted he was a free agent.
Terrific slot corner.
Oh, he's so good.
Terrific slot corner.
And I wanted the Bills to go after him when he was a free agent for like a hot second. I don't even know if he made it to free agency. They might have signed him right before free agency, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I wanted the Bills to go after him to play slot corner.
Yeah, he's an excellent slot corner.
So, and I don't know. I think this Bills secondary can be on that level, even maybe better than it. And I think that'll decide, what they can do this year. Because if you trust your guys that much, then you can blitz linebackers. You can bring safeties. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can get creative to get pressure on the quarterback, and you don't necessarily suffer in coverage,
Yeah. I want to see Bradley Chubb and what Greg Rousseau looks like in this defense. Can Greg Rousseau, continue to be an eight sack guy, 9 sacks, 10 sacks? Can he do that?
Don't you think that he's going to end up like they're just going to end up playing a 4-man front most of the time?
Yeah, I think that's the case. But in some cases, I think him having a little bit more space on the outside to kind of, his pass rush plan can be a little bit more free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be so tightly condensed, right? So I think that's going to give him some more options to attack. So we'll see. I mean, we haven't really heard much about TJ Parker in training camp. I would like to hear about TJ and how he's transitioning. I heard Joe Marino was talking about that he needs to play with more power, so I hope that's the case. Again, it's only this is the second week of training camp, but you want to see those rookies, man. You want to hear good stuff, and I just haven't heard enough good stuff about TJ Parker. So we'll see if it comes to fruition, but here's the great news.
I think
they're about to start playing football.
I think he's a project, though. Like, you think he's going to make an impact on this team this year?
I don't know. I
think he's getting a lot of it. I think he's getting a lot of attention because he was their first pick, but he's a second-round guy. And honestly, like, their day 2 picks, I'm more excited about their day 3 picks in terms of guys who I think are actually
Kilgore, man.
Kilgore, yeah.
I'm so bullish on him. I just love the fact that they've been stockpiling really good athletes on defense.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, they've been going after athletes. And I love that about our defense. Now it's not, we had just a bunch of smart guys. Now we have a bunch of athletic guys who can make plays on the ball. Like, they got ball hawks, so I love that. So let's
Kilgore
see if they can train them up.
And Elarmzor and
yeah,
I think there's a few guys who, I'm more excited about than maybe their second-round pick in terms of actually making a difference this year. So
yeah,
all
man.
right, Sterls.
So, dude.
Well, I don't want to assume anything, but maybe you come back next week. We talk big picture NFL. How you feeling about that?
I'll talk to my agent and see if that's something that we can
have your people call my people. We'll see if we can get it done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We can run it back next week.
See, not rusty at all. You're on here yelling, getting everybody all riled up.
I feel so unprepared. I didn't have, stats ready. None of that.
Stop it.
I didn't have nothing ready this week. So
stop it.
Unprepared.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming through. We will make sure that we're back here next week, hopefully without the technical difficulties. Hopefully it's a little bit easier to figure out next week. I'm not sure that's going to be the case, but we'll do the best we can. And then tomorrow, Free for All Friday. So we're going to talk about all kinds of things. So, hi, boys. Hello. Some dogs just showed up. I got to go say hi to them. So.
Nice. All right, man.
Well, we'll let y'all go. We appreciate you hanging out. And like I said, tomorrow's a free-for-all Friday. So come stop by the stream and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about, including NFL if that's what you want to do. But thanks, everybody, for watching, and we will catch you next time. Later, Sterls.
Later, bro.